Yes, and we're live.
Hi, happy Capricorn full moon.
I know, right? Yay. So I know that we're a bit late, and that's my fault, guys. So without further ado,
We're right on time.
we're right on time, yes. So I'm going to ring the meditation symbol to get this thing started to clear space and energy. And so let's begin. So we made it. It's Friday.
Made it, and we are like right at we are just past the strongest point of the full moon for you there on the West Coast. It was around a little after 6 p.m., and here on the East Coast, a little after 9 p.m. So we're about an hour into the other side of the Capricorn full moon. And let's see, it's at 1 degree, I believe. No. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry. It's like, that's not right. Yeah, 1 degree. So, every sign has 30 degrees. Any sign at 1 or at 29 is very intense. So,
Mm-hmm.
everything about Capricorn and a 1 degree full moon is intensified. It is a cardinal earth sign. It's about authority, a government. It is ruled by Saturn, so it's a very austere kind of energy. It's about leadership. It's something that gets overlooked about Capricorn that I feel is really apropos for the energies that we're experiencing over the next several days is the symbol of the fish-tailed goat. So people get, the whole earthy goat part of Capricorn and tend to overlook that fishtail symbol. The fishtail symbol of Capricorn connects to the very depths of our soul and spirituality. So it represents the very sensitive side of Capricorn. Capricorn comes off very austere, somewhat stoic, in charge, the leaders. Um, they're the father figure. They, are very, they can be a little tyrannical. They can be like diplomatic, the prime minister, um, the elder, the hermit. So it has that sort of personification. But what we all need to remember over these lunations is that fishtail is our reminder notice of the depths of our spirituality and the connection of ourselves to spirit. So, a Capricorn is very resourceful. I had a brother with a Capricorn moon, and he um, subscribed to something called the Tightwad Gazette. Capricorn can be very frugal. They see value in what other people discard. They're very good at recycling and upcycling and seeing treasure from other people's discarded things. So you might be going through some of that kind of re-looking or having a different perspective of um, things that you have disregarded that come back around to sort of get shiny and polished again or repurposed. Shabby chic is a very Capricornian trend in interior design, taking someone's old junk and making it all trendy and desirable again. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you might find that happening in your own situations in life with your home or work. Um, but I think once I give you all the equations, so to speak, or the connections of the summer solstice, which was yesterday, and this Capricorn full moon and the other aspects involved, there's really one primary message that we all need to be taking very seriously, and that is our own sense of spiritual connection within ourself is the priority. Capricorn is opposite Cancer. It's a Capricorn Cancer polarity. Cancer is the mother and the nurturer. So this is all about nurturing ourselves, pulling back from giving too much of ourselves to others at the sacrifice of what's for our well-being. Um, I don't know if anyone can relate to hearing conversations or situations around them. It's been around me a lot of people feeling that they are somehow undervalued and unhappy and not and extending themselves to people who don't deserve that care and nurturance, right? So this
Mhm.
is a time to be very inward and turn all of that self-care and self-love and nurturance to ourselves, because there is a south node connection here to this full moon that um, Jupiter is making a trine to the south node, and that will bring like people and places and patterns of behavior from the past up for us to somewhat heal or recognize and do something about. Jupiter gives us the opportunity to make something out of nothing, and be pleasantly surprised. Jupiter is very optimistic and brings opportunities. But as I was telling Scorpio Moon before we came on, um, and we all can relate to this, whether it's in your family or your workplace or wherever, people will have their same script. They're comfortable with their complaining. They're comfortable with not being happy. They're comfortable with always feeling like the other shoe is going to drop, or they just can't catch a break. That kind of dynamic. And if we learn nothing else about what's happening for this year, and especially what we've been through the last 3 years with Pluto um, and Uranus, is that crap doesn't fly. And we are the only ones, ourself, our innermost being, that can change that inner script, which will change the manifestation outwardly. So it's a very sensitive time to watch yourself talk, you know, um, watch making assumptions. And the other thing is with the South Node is the habit of judging what your opportunity might or might not be coming towards you based on past. Like, let's keep it in the profession job genre, because that's very Capricornian, is your work and profession and things like that, your honor, your reputation. So, say you um, are are judging your situation because 3 years ago you tried to get another job and it didn't work out. So that's taking something from the past and making it a self-made blockade for our future. And this energy is about, these Uranus transits, Jupiter transits, This blows open our horizon. No more old scripts, no more negative Nelly, no more, negative self talk or, well, that never works out for me. So I don't expect it to work out for me.
Mhm.
That, that is just not flying anymore. And I think you can either try to fight it and find yourself amidst a lot of chaos, or you can try to tap into it and really, in your heart of hearts, genuinely think about, write about, and where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in your career, in your profession? Um, with that South Node element, you might come across someone now who reminds you of like a past boss or a past work situation. And it comes up for you to um, face head on. And the stoic, stern elder part of that Capricorn energy is about being honest with yourself, taking ownership for what you created. So, um, turning around your perspective on how maybe you've thought of something as a negative, but yet you're right where you're supposed to be. You're always right where you're supposed to be. You have what you need. And, full moons are typically about finality of a project or finality of a cycle. It's kind of strange because later in July, we have a second Capricorn full moon. So there, and we've just come out of a lot of Gemini energy, which is that duality. So you might be looking at two projects, two jobs, two relationships, twos, things in twos. And the month of July definitely is going to intensify that. We're just at June 21st, but as we get closer to July 4th, on the 5th, we have a Cancer new moon. So again, we have that Capricorn Cancer polarity over the next few weeks. Um, Cancer can complain a lot. You might feel whiny, with uh, a lot of emphasis on Cancerian kind of transits. I want
No,
some.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, but I feel like that. I'm a Capricorn, and I don't know if I'm embodying my polar self. My if I'm being bipolar or anything like that. But yeah, I admit that I've been a little bit whiny and bitchy, and I really feel like I've been working so hard. I feel like I just need a break. Like, I just know that I need to take a step back and not, like, really, like, overdo myself. So, like, really be gentle to myself, and not really be hard on myself at the same time, which I feel like is more of a Cancerian trait. So, like, even for myself, being a Capricorn sun, I feel like very exhausted with this type of energy. And going back to what you were talking about the negative self talk, um, there's this gentleman, I think his name is something Proctor. I can't remember his
Oh
name.
yeah, Bob Proctor.
Yeah, Bob Proctor. So he was talking about like the conscious mind and the subconscious and the body, right?
Right.
So in the conscious state, uh, you have like your perception, you have your willpower, you have imagination, you have intuition, reason, and memory. Okay. And then based off of that conscious like information, how much of that permeates and goes down into like the subconscious, which
Right.
is like the paradigm.
Right.
So it's like what you're talking about, like, with some people who has like that self-fulfilling prophecy of saying, "Oh, woe is me. This will never
This is
change."
how it's going to be.
Yeah, like being negative and like, no, this is the way it's gonna be, then that is the energy that they're embodying. But they have the power, okay, to change their paradigm. That's why I call it the paradigm shift. Um, to really change like their mind,
Right.
that they can change. They don't have to like, think that this is all that there will be. Like there's
Change your
more.
paradigm, change your life.
Yeah, so the other saying goes is like, where your focus goes, energy flows. So if you're putting emphasis on negativity, then obviously that's going to be negative. If you focus your energy on positivity, then obviously that's where it goes to positive. And I know that it could be difficult because our monkey mind is like, oh shit, yeah, I'm thinking negative. I'm trying to need like change my
Basing on
mind.
what's happened in the past and nothing
Right. Like
changes.
recollecting the memory aspect and then getting sucked into like that conscious awareness, right?
Right.
So yeah,
This is how
so
it's always
if you
been. It's never going to change.
and if you're aware, if you have like that intellect and not really think about the perception of that reaching the memory aspect and just like moving forward, like erasing that memory so to speak, then you can change the flow, the change the direction
And I
of.
think a consistent metaphysical or spiritual element of that is to be grateful right where you are.
Mhm.
For anything that happens to you, if you perceive it as negative, to be grateful for that pain, to be grateful for that loss, to be grateful for right where you are, because that's being in the present. And I think that whole paradigm, conscious, subconscious mind is directly connected to staying present,
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
either, agonize over something from the past or worry about something in the future, where we need to be present. And whatever part of that, whatever that involves, to be grateful for it. And I think one of the strongest elements to manifesting the life that you love is in your lowest moment being grateful for that moment, and
Yeah, even if it's a
understanding
negative experience,
and understanding on that fish-tailed goat deeply spiritual connection, that it is for a purpose, for your soul's growth and development.
Mhm.
And that's hard for people to understand. The ego gets in the way,
Mhm.
the whole, you know feeling the perception of how other people see us, and comparing our lives to how other people's lives are, and this perception of how society thinks we should be or not be, or so. That's what I wanted to hone in on tonight about the Capricorn full moon, is that fish-tailed goat connects us to our most inner spiritual being, and that is the message of Capricorn and the full moon. You also have Venus, Mercury involved with this full moon. When it's a full moon, the sun and moon are opposite of each other. So we have Venus and Mercury opposite the moon as well. So that can bring up, more, that close to the sun. It can make communication and our money not clear or fuzzy.
Mhm.
Mars and Taurus squaring that can bring up arguments, right? So the whole thing about love, money, war, and that communication and that dynamic with a 1 degree full moon can be exemplified, right?
Mhm.
You definitely are seeing it manifest in weather patterns. If you look across the world on flooding and tornadoes and horrible, horrible storms, that is all, this 1 degree full moon with aspects to Mercury, Venus, Mars. There's also, an interesting dynamic with Neptune and the full moon. It's still at 29 degrees of Pisces, and Neptune is squaring the moon, and that can, maybe, give you the feeling of memory loss or just being forgetful. Um, it's a really good time to just like slow down and take extra time to remember your details. If there's a project you're on or a mission you're on or something you're trying to accomplish, I I have been making it through a very long 3-week notice. Today was my last day at my current employer and now prior employer, and I start a new job I'm very excited about next week. Well, these last couple of weeks have been like watching paint dry.
Mhm.
I've been called traitor more than once, from other employees. When you're getting ready to leave someplace, they can act weird about it. But one of the things that I've been occupying my time with is a home repair project journal. And I've been sitting with a notebook and going room by room in my home and in great detail listing out everything that I want to accomplish. And it's usually to do with spring cleaning, decluttering. It's not any major things, but when you start writing them down in detail, it adds up, and
Oh, yeah.
so you know, making notes right now will help you in the future because there would be a propensity with Neptune squaring the moon to forget that you were supposed to call someone or forget you were supposed to follow up. In cleaning out my office at this job, I had gone to a conference last year and some vendor was giving out these really nice journals, just blank line journals. And so when I started planting a garden a month or so ago, I was keeping my garden journal, like what I'd planted, when the bunnies or groundhogs were eating a plant, just making notes about, things going on and what efforts I was trying to make to do one thing or another, all yard related. And, with that, trying to address some emotions, about, you know, I really like to garden. I think it's therapeutic, but it's also very frustrating to put a lot of sweat and money into it only for some critter to come and within a night destroy what your sweat and money and work did.
Mhm,
Then you have
mhm.
to kind of keep that Jupiterian, buoyant kind of sense of humor that, hey, you know, they're just little critters. They're hungry in the middle of the night. And I was nice enough to set like a little buffet out for them. So
Mhm.
it's so funny how they'll completely leave certain things alone and completely demolish other things. And so my journal has been trying to just, we are so overwhelmed by digital media and AI and all of this electronic stuff. It's hard for our minds to keep up and process these priorities and things that keep us grounded, right? So I'm not saying you have to do any of this. I'm just offering up some ways to process some very challenging energy. And that would be keep a journal, or if you're more tuned into your smartphone and record notes, it doesn't have to be like physically writing it if you don't want that kind of cumbersome idea of pen and paper. I come from a pen and paper background. I love my pen and paper, so that works for
Okay.
me. Um, some other things that um, I was saying before we went on that I feel is a real manifestation of the energies that I've just been describing, and very Capricornian with the South Node involved, is so, you know, and I really apologize in advance. I do not mean to sit here and sound like I'm talking about myself. I'm trying to give examples that help other people connect to how this might work out in their life. And so, but sometimes the only way I know how to say that is this is what's happened. So, um, I've just said that I've given up one position. I'm starting a new position. That's very Capricornian, you know, your career, your work, your profession, your reputation, um, what gives you value, right? What makes you make you feel a sense of value. So, you know, I'm over 60. A lot of younger generation people would see me as like ready to retire and washed up and, you know, no possible viable future. I work with people who are younger who have felt that towards me, like, oh, you're going to retire. No, I'm just getting started. And as you get older, and I think closer to 60, you recognize that up until this point, you've been practicing and you're just really getting started with coming into who you are, how you feel about things, and what your work and life uh, passion is. And so,
Mhm.
and hopefully you find work that you feel passionate about.
Mhm.
So, when I took this job, I was 60. So, I've been hired and I'm in my 60s to do a better job, working for nicer people, making more money, hopefully, working fewer hours, hopefully.
Mhm.
So it's an advancement. And the reaction I've had from some of the younger people I work with, like, oh, you're not retiring? I mean, you know, which honestly, between you and me and the light post is insulting to me because I'm not old enough to retire. And
Mhm.
um, anyway, so I read this thing on LinkedIn about people, like there's this trend in our world about people not sticking to jobs that are unfulfilling, that um, you know, you look at my resume in the last 12 years, I haven't stayed anywhere longer than 2.5 years. I change jobs about every 2 years because if I'm bored or feel dead in the water or stagnant, I am going to look for something else to do. I am not a just sit on my hands and be stuck feeling for the almighty paycheck. I want to feel engaged and like I'm always growing and learning and contributing to something that I feel good about at the end of the day. So I read this thing on LinkedIn about people not staying with jobs very long and being accused of job hopping when really the way their paradigm or their perspective, the way they were looking at it was, no, you're on a career adventure. So these last couple of weeks with these people who think I'm washed up and should retire or this or that or too old to do this or that, I've you know I've said, hey, you know, I'm on a career adventure. I'm bored here. I'm not being utilized for what I can do. I found somewhere where I think I'm going to be a better fit and do better.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes just following your heart, um, and you mentioned the monkey mind, you know, and trying to get the monkey mind to just go sit in the corner and shut up is exactly what you're meant to do, because I honestly feel like that interaction with people triggers in their mind, you know, maybe I can put my resume out. You know, maybe I could be happier than what I am. Maybe I don't have to settle because I need the paycheck. So,
Mhm.
this energy again with the fishtailed goat, deeply spiritual, find your calling. You know, if you are in a dead end job, a dead end relationship, or some stagnant situation and you do not see growth in it, then you're the only person that can affect a change. You know, we tend to, in human nature, reach out to someone to help us make a decision or, you know, guide us. We're really, that guidance is our inner self. And that's what this energy is supposed to be teaching us is
Mhm.
there's no one that's going to tell you that you need to, well, there are people that tell you what you need to do, but my point
Right.
is, you know, tuning into your innermost being, getting really quiet, being in nature, listening to music, doing things that are calming to your soul during these energies, and allow your intuition to speak to you. And a
Mhm.
lot of times, that's where people get stuck or dormant, is that little quiet voice that there's intuition that says, hey, you need to update your resume and put it out, and just even apply to things you don't think you'd like, but just put out to the universe that you're open for opportunities and you want to grow and develop as a person, and do something more interesting and be around nicer people, and hey, you might even make more money.
Mhm.
Hey, I mean, just not blocking yourself because I had a girl say to me today, well, I put my resume out 3 or 4 years ago and I didn't get anything. And that's what I mean about not taking what happened in the past and putting in a block to keep us from growing in the future.
Mhm.
Full moon should help people sort of blow that dynamic up.
Mhm.
It's creating floods, which is synonymous with emotions. It's tornadoes, people having to start from scratch. And when you have had some kind of trauma, or you know what's considered like a blow in life, you've been knocked, pulled the rug out from under you or knocked down, to be able to sit right there with your tears and everything and just say, I'm grateful for this pain, I am grateful for this experience, I know that
Mhm.
I'll grow from this. And I tell you this because I think that's what's helped me in the past, is instead of, Cancer has I have a Cancer moon and Venus, that has a way of self pity. There's a there's a maudlin sentimental energy there, where we don't like to let go of things from the past. And so, you know, I can speak honestly about having have the dearest things to me lost, and having to learn to sit right with those tears and embrace it. And I think that has moved blockages from old traumas or old negative patterns to allow new opportunities at whatever age. This one young girl came to my door today and was like, you know, my uncle was 55 years old and he's quit his job and he just wanted to do something totally new. And it just goes to show you that you're never too old to learn something new or do something different. Well, I'm way past 55. And she stared right at me, looking at me like that was an okay thing to say. And I'm sitting here going, I can't wait till you're my age and have some young asshole speak to you in that way. I mean, that she
Mhm.
doesn't even recognize how offensive it is. And, but, that
But you
just,
being the wise person, know not to like
and no comment, like my
yeah.
old lady, it was like no comment. And, so it's really interesting to see. Capricorn is about aging. Capricorn, and I don't know if this is true for you, but many Capricorn children are sickly and then they live to be very strong and old. So there's sort of a
Mhm.
weird dynamic there, that um, they can have illnesses as a child and seem, like compromised that way in health, but ultimately live to be very old and healthy and outlive people.
Mm.
So, that idea about aging and Capricorn energy can be very prominent right now. There might be people out there faced with, whatever age they are, having a perception of, well, I always thought by the time I was 40, I'd be married and have a house. Well, what is that dynamic? Where is it in your nature? Are you
Well,
don't
I
see
can
yourself
speak for
in that?
that. It's because, they were not focused on that. They say they wanted it, but
Yeah.
were they really focused on it?
Right.
And
They probably had plenty of opportunities
they
to.
probably had opportunities, but blew it off, or, maybe it wasn't the right person, or, there's a lot of factors. But if that's what they wanted, then clearly, and it didn't manifest, then it wasn't something that they truly worked on.
Well, and here we are at the summer solstice, and
Mhm.
with the trine to Jupiter that could bring up, making plans for short trips and adventures. And I see Alicia here says her vacation starts today, and I don't know what you're planning to do, but taking a short day trip or a long trip, or just this energy is moving people around. It could be
Mhm.
moving homes, it could be moving jobs, but there's movement to this energy. The summer solstice is it's the longest. It was yesterday in the northern hemisphere. It's the longest day and the shortest night of the year. And spiritually, it represents vitality, your enlightenment and awareness, your life force or kundalini. So, I mean, just on a deep, again, that fishtail goat connection to our depths of our soul, it's about connecting to your innermost being, about who you are, where you want to be, where are you going, and what are you doing to affect that goal. Because again, Capricorn, work, profession, goals. um One of the common evaluation employers make of their employees every year includes, and where do you see yourself in your career in 3 years or 5 years?
Mhm.
And so you might find some of that kind of mindset during these energies of sort of evaluating of, where do you see yourself going? Where do you want to be? Um,
Mhm.
and if you're not doing anything to affect that, then you have no one to blame. I mean, it's
Mhm.
all on us individually to figure out what are our patterns that have created the scenarios that we have been navigating. And if they're not positive or not what we want to be, then what do we have to do to change that?
Mhm.
I think one of the most important things is to listen more, like shut up, stop talking so much and listen. I mean, people think they know everything, and it's hard just to have a conversation with somebody. They just all want to know everything. And I've just I have gained more information and inspiration for my own personal path just by listening. If you're in a busy place or in an office around a lot of people, don't feel like you have to chime in to contribute something. Just listen to what people are talking about. And quite often, it helps you learn something about yourself. You might be thinking in your mind, like someone's talking about something, and it triggers a memory. It triggers a memory of, you remember when you blah, 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 or you traveled to blah, 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 blah. And this is a really good energy to just be quiet. You don't have to share that. You know, another sort of metaphysical, energetic ideal or concept is, don't tell people what you plan. Don't share everything. It has to build its energy inside of you to gain its power.
Mhm.
And you know, again, every 12 years, every couple of years, being in some different office environment around a lot of different people gossiping and chatting, I have found more growth out of just being quiet and listening. So that might be a good strategy for the next couple of weeks or month, I would say. Just say less, listen more, say less, and really meditate on what your innermost spiritual feelings are about how you want to express yourself, like
Mhm.
where you want to be um, with your career, leadership, authority, and not letting like some outside third party dictate to you what you should do. It should all come
Yeah.
from inside.
Mhm.
And that's hard, because we are pack animals. We are community animals. We like having our cliques and groups and associations. But, you know, it's been sort of a soulful being pulled through a knothole over the last couple of years, and I think that has stripped the ego for a lot of people, and we need to take advantage of that purity, of that getting down to the bone, which Saturn rules Capricorn. That's your structure, your bones, and there's a book I highly recommend about writing, and it's called Writing Down the Bones. It's just a really easy little read. And if you have trouble expressing your emotions or getting down to, what's the thing? What's that thing or trauma that happened to you that gives you a certain behavior pattern with bosses and coworkers and people for you ultimately not to bond with.
Mhm.
And that it's kind of a come to Jesus type of moment with yourself, where
Yeah, it's like really being honest with yourself, and it's just you and
and being
just
accountable.
mhm.
Um, so Capricorn, Cancer polarity. Cancer is famous for, oh, this was a great example. Okay, so I'm Cancer, Moon, and Venus. Um, Cancer is famous for, let me take care of you. Even if I don't have what I need to take care of myself, I
Mhm.
can take care of you.
Mhm.
And now, everything in moderation. There's a certain degree in society where being charitable and volunteering to help those without, or, after a bad storm, helping people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a behavior pattern, consistently giving to friends, friendships, and families more of yourself than is healthy,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially to groups and people who do not reciprocate, right? Because one
Mhm.
of the things Cancer has to learn is to receive. They'll give and give and give, but then try to give something to a Cancer and be, oh, no, you don't do that. Okay. So I have learned over the years that that's never really gotten me where I wanted to be.
Mhm.
Giving when I didn't have it, but just felt like I wanted to be the mother. I wanted to fix a situation if I could. I finally realized that a lot of people like being in miserable situations, and you have to allow them to stay there. And no
Right.
amount of fixing is going to help. So I had come across a guy who, through the job search, he was going through a difficult divorce and didn't want the divorce, and his wife has met someone else, and so he's like confronted with finding his own place, and you know she's staying with the home and all of this, all the stuff. And so he was like approaching me about, hey, do you have any dishes or anything that I could have, because I really don't know what I'm going to do, and really don't want to buy anything to figure out what I'm going to do. And I think I'd been talking about a yard sale, and like four or five of us had a yard sale, and I ended up with all the leftover stuff. And there are miscellaneous dishes and coffee mugs and stuff, and they're packed up. And for me to go and dig them out would be, you know, it would be hard to do. I mean, I have plenty of other things I need to be doing besides that.
Mhm.
My first thought was, oh, yes, let me go take care of that. Let me go take care of this person who needs something and I can help them. And then I kept thinking about where those boxes were and how hard they would be to get to, and everything I had to move out of the way to be able to get to these boxes that I can't even remember what's in them. And nice dishes, and he had made some comment about, I was like, they don't have to be nice, we don't need anything nice. And I started thinking about that. I was like, well, why am I so ready to give away nice things to somebody who doesn't care what they have? And then within like a week or so, I was in a couple of different places where I saw like cheap dishes, like you could get a box of cheap dishes for like $12.48.
Mhm.
So this conversation started going on in my mind about, why am I so ready to drop what is on my priority list that I need to take care of somebody who would never appreciate those efforts or energies, will never reciprocate any kind of, like if I needed help, moving furniture or needed something, or a ride to get my car fixed,
Right, would they come?
no. And then I saw this box of dishes for like $12.48. I'm like, you know what? They got $12.48. I think that they really want their dishes, they can come. And I mean, this is a weird example, but I'm trying to get to the point of a behavior pattern that I have tried to recognize and take accountability for. That
Mhm.
behavior pattern has never gotten me a better friend or someone I could rely on or trust. It was
Mhm.
just a take and and keep
Take.
on going. And,
Yeah.
and so it was so weird, but I was in a thrift store and I saw these dishes and I was like, well, those are kind of masculine. And I forget, they were like $28 for this set of dishes. And I had this conversation in my mind about, you know, $28. I'll go ahead and get those and give them to him. And then this other voice is like, $28. You keep your $28. Let them go get their own dishes. And it was like this
Well,
mental.
my question is that did he associate you, like, giving away free items because you were talking about a yard sale? Is that where that triggered, like, the conversation? Or did he feel like you're the type of person who would just give on a
Yeah,
drop of a
I
dime?
think the second thing, yeah, because
Oh.
the yard sale didn't come up till after he was already talking about, do you have any dishes?
Mhm.
Need some dishes. But when I left that thrift store and I had not bought those dishes, I had this little like yay in my mentality. It was like, good girl, you do not need to take care of people who don't care about their situation.
Mhm.
And that was it's a weird thing I'm trying to explain, but
No,
I'm hoping
I
everyone can
get
kind
it.
of relate
It's like
to.
you're so quick to, like, do anything for anyone because that's your just true nature. But the thing is that the more you give, like, the less you're receiving, and it needs to be an equal exchange. And
Yeah,
if you don't feel the equal exchange, then like again, you talked about value. You
right,
just feel less valued, and why the heck, well, now you know, but
right.
why the heck are you giving away your good deeds when, it's not being reciprocated? So,
And
I think.
honestly, I think it comes from a childhood pattern of just wanting to feel loved and needed and not
Mhm,
feeling loved and needed. So as adult relationships have unfolded, it's been, let me do for you because I need you to, love me and need me. And
mhm,
recognizing that that's not how love and need works at all. And
mhm.
so, I think what I was trying to explain too is just recognizing, and taking accountability for our own behavior. People aren't doing stuff to you.
Right, it's
We're
because you
allowing
made the
them.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this energy is really about that. That fish-tailed goat, that inner connection to the spirituality of water and the depths of the ocean and the depths of your soul is the energy we're in, and figuring out, you know, your innermost life force and what you need to feel satisfied without any other person, thing in your life, just to feel
Mhm.
fulfilled on your own. You trust your own guidance, inner guidance, you trust your own intuition, and then you really can affect helping others better. And so that's what this energy is all about. It's very deep. It's very,
Mhm.
Capricorn can be very serious. Cancerian energy, again, very, family and home, security connected. So, our next few weeks in the middle of summer here, and having just gotten past a summer solstice, which again is another very spiritual unfoldment, and you're talking about subconscious mind and conscious mind. I mean, these are things that work on us ethereally. And so, it'd be interesting if there was some kind of study to see if, the number of readings people seek out to get during these times escalates, the percentage. Because usually when you're feeling more spiritual, that's what readings are. They are a reader reflecting your subconscious mind to you. The cards, these are messages. We're just confirming what's already in your subconscious mind that you were thinking. And it's nice to have someone say, oh, well, the devil made me do it. But, I hope that this is all connecting and makes sense. It's kind of deep. I have felt that this is a very deep energy, very
Mm.
deep energy.
Well, I can say that for me being a Capricorn, I am feeling the depths of the ocean. But every time when you bring up that fishtail thing, I always think of it as being dry and scaly. So
Oh,
I don't know.
that's funny, but it's wet and slick.
I don't know. I think my feet are dry or
That's
something like.
funny. I never thought of that, dry and scaly, but they're wet. It's in the ocean. It's wet. It's not
Well,
dry.
I mean, they're land animals, so they go on the land and the sea. So I'm
That's
feeling
true.
a little dry.
That's true. That is so true.
Anyway,
Let's pull some cards on it and see what we can learn.
okay. So let's see here. Where is okay? Here we are. Aries.
Aries. So the North Node is in Aries, and that would be making a trine to Mercury. North Node trine Mercury. That's positive communication for Aries.
Well, I have two of Michael, which is two of swords.
And I
Ooh.
have Four of Wands.
Oh, well, that's positive. Um, well, mine is a little bit negative, Nelly over here. It says it will all be better if you just make a decision over analyzing a problem, find a compromise.
And, four can mean structure. So maybe the compromise is deciding on a structure of a habit or restructuring something. It has to do with communication, how you communicate, Aries.
Mm.
Maybe trying to be less compulsive.
I just did a reading earlier today, and the client was thinking about moving to a house, and so the structure actually reminds me of a home. If Aries, you
Yeah,
think about making a move, this one is saying it'll be better if you just make a decision,
right.
like analysis paralysis. Yeah,
And this
kind.
is a card typically associated with a celebration that can
Mhm.
involve a home and um, harvest, some sort
Mhm.
of completion of hard work.
Yeah, Just find compromise and it'll all work out.
Yes. But nobody said it was going to be easy.
Yeah, life isn't easy. So next we have Taurus.
Mars and Taurus. So that's still that sort of combative um, warpath kind of beating your chest energy.
Yeah, I was feeling that. I didn't want to make like the sound effect that I was thinking like grunting.
Well, here's the
Uh that's gonna take forever.
so here's the soldier on his horse,
Mm.
methodically.
And I
Oh,
have the Magician. It says you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginning. So maybe there's a beginning, but it's a slow process, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So
but
you're on to something.
it definitely on to something.
Hmm.
Taurus is about banking and finances and security,
Mm-hmm.
personal possessions.
Yeah, it might be slow, but it's there. It's something solid. So that's actually a really good thing.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. So next we have Gemini.
Yeah, so we still have Jupiter in Gemini. A lot of Pentacles coming up. We've got the Page of Pentacles.
Okay.
So it's a youthful person, maybe getting their first job for summer, like kids getting out of school and looking for their summer work.
And I have solution. It says success that comes from objective compromise, self control, and patience, forgiving and healing energy.
I like it.
So I guess there is a solution to a problem. Maybe it's the beginning of something.
Well, and Jupiter and Gemini definitely brings, multiple opportunities. So Gemini needs to be open minded and not put roadblocks in front of them that they don't need to.
Mm-hmm. Like really be open to the energy that's presented to them.
Might take a little trip. Jupiter can be about travel.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Just be open. Next, we have Cancer.
So yeah, the Tropic of Cancer and the summer solstice yesterday is very poignant time of the year. And look, I got the World.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
Oh, and I have the Magician.
Oh gosh.
That's a very similar, like energy. It
Yeah.
seems. You can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings.
Having all the elements of the world at your fingertips.
Yeah, the world is your oyster, right? Ah, there's something that is manifesting there. There's looks like a portal of some sort.
Yes, some of the other decks, the world is shown more like an egg shape, and the
Mm-hmm.
egg is about new life.
Mm-hmm. Birthing of something new.
Yeah,
I also see here a rainbow, and the rainbow is a sign of auspiciousness.
yeah,
And it looks like,
I like it.
oh, there's a wizard. I couldn't tell. I thought it was Pegasus back there, but
Oh,
there's a wizard back there. So I feel like you're being backed by, uh, like an elder, like an family spirit.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So I feel that they're guiding you in the right direction. That's good.
I like that.
Hmm. I do too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, because a lot of times is that we don't see like our ancestors who have passed away, not really being with us in the present because obviously their spirit has evolved into the ethers, right? But here we are in what you would call our mute suit. There's
Yes.
still the energy is still there, so they're still there protecting us, even though we can't see. So I feel like it's sort of a guidance, like they're always watching over us. So yeah.
I rarely ever, my dad died in the year 2000. I can count on one hand and not use all the fingers for the number of times he's been in a dream. And I recently had him in a dream right around Father's Day. He was very much on my mind around Father's Day.
Mm.
And it was a really good feeling, that fatherly kind of um, protective energy,
Mhm.
Cancerian and the protection. And I woke up feeling like, it's going to be okay. You got
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's possibly the protective energy that's coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so thank old daddy for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. It had something to do with the ending of one job and the beginning of another.
Mhm.
Job evolution.
Yeah. Going to bigger and better places.
It took all I could muster to keep my mouth shut with some of the comments that have been made.
Well,
Um,
I think you did good.
it's all working out. I'm
Mhm.
grateful. I'm grateful that I didn't have to stay any longer.
Yeah. I feel like everything was in alignment for that, according to the timing and stuff. And I see here the sun.
Oh,
Life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking and inspiring success. Wow, that's good.
nice. Take a rest, Leo. Lay down.
Yeah. Don't think too much.
Yeah. It's going to be a heat wave where I am this weekend, and this is what I'm planning to do right here.
I'm taking a rest.
Lay down.
Yeah, I'm doing that tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be working.
That's a pretty card, Archangel Uriel.
Hmm. Yeah, the sunflower is my mama's.
Oh,
Now it's one of her favorite flowers, I believe.
I love sunflowers.
Hmm. Yeah. Honestly, like they do give off a positive vibe.
They do. There's a farm about 45 minutes from me that
Hmm.
does sunflower. It's a sunflower farm. They do festivals at the end of July, and it's fields and fields. And
Of
those
sunflowers.
flowers are as big as dinner plates. They're huge.
Wow.
They are huge. And you can go out into the field and pick some. They have food trucks and little vendors. When I didn't go last year, I went the year before, but I bought little sunflower earrings and t-shirt, and I really did it up. And it was hot and humid.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was for $10 you could cut three, or you could get five for $15. Maybe. I don't know. My friend and I both went. We each picked out our five, and they were just huge.
Mhm, mhm. Well, you get to enjoy the flower, and then if it had the seeds on them,
Right. The
then you
birds will eat the seeds.
yeah.
You hang them out and they dry, and the birds love sunflower seeds.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, and I noticed when they started drying up, man, the pollen that fell from them.
Always a lot.
Oh, a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
I can imagine because it's, like, yellow tinted, like, inside the fuzzy.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And they were so big that, they produced a lot.
Mm.
Last year they had some issue. I don't know what it was, but they didn't have as big of a crop. And
Probably
whenever,
because it was too hot.
whatever that was, we didn't go because it gets really crowded unless you kind of try to go at an off time.
Mhm.
Wanted to like be there before the crowd or whatever. And so we never got out there last year. There was even a Mary Kay Cosmetics lady doing little mini facials out in the middle of some park. Yeah. What else was
Ah,
there? They had some unique little vendors. It was a very small little festival
mhm. Well, it sounds like a quaint little like little
out
go-to.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay. Well, how far was it? Like,
It was a good 40, 50 miles and just as
oh,
far as you could see, fields of sunflowers.
uh-huh.
It
Oh,
was
wow.
very cool.
Interesting. So, for Virgo, I have King of Ariel, which is King of Pentacles.
Oh, I have 6 of rods.
Rods. Oh, okay. So it says successful, stable, accomplished, and powerful. Your plans are working out very well. Professional and financial success, using resources wisely. So, yeah, Six of Rods is like
Victory.
victory. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks happy.
Yeah.
Virgo. That's
Yes.
pretty nice.
And I think that is their number. 6 is the Virgo
Oh
number.
yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
And I think of this as being methodical and victorious and healing, very healing energy. The horse is about power.
Mm-hmm. And feeling good, especially in the public arena. Virgo, you must be doing really well.
I get mover and shaker from this.
Hmm. Well, maybe it's that time. I mean, because
I
before you know it, it's Virgo season.
Yeah,
Time is going by fast this year. Seems like.
it'll be here before you know it.
I know. Well, next we have Libra.
Libra.
Hmm. Oh,
Oh, 6 of Cups.
and I have Page of Raphael, which is Page of Cups.
Oh,
So this one says, gentle, loving, dreamy, and open hearted. A new emotional situation, messages regarding relationships or social invitations. Great intuitive insights. Hmm. Well, Libra. Uh, love is in the air, especially for
yes,
the soulmate.
yeah. This is a really good feeling energy. Maybe
Hmm.
Libra will be more social than usual over the full moon.
Yeah, being gentle. Especially if you're by the ocean over there. I see looks like India. um,
Dreamy.
yeah, yeah, very open to love. Now I see that lady, she's got her legs crossed, but maybe it's because something is stirring you up on the inside. I don't know. I would say be open to whatever. Maybe the blast from the past
Yeah,
comes back. Mm. But whatever it is, you're feeling lovey.
yeah.
It's a good sign.
Good stuff.
Mhm. I like it. All right. So next we have Scorpio.
Scorpio. I get the Chariot.
And I have 9 of Ariel, which is 9 of Pentacles. It says, your dreams are fulfilled, hard work leads to great success, a love for the beautiful things in life. Wow, so there's movement forward, feeling independent, doing really well.
Balanced. Yeah.
Whatever it is, if there's movement forward, and um, I feel like this is financial. This could be traveling. Whatever you've been thinking of, dreaming of, it will come to success. Maybe it's a time to be immersed in nature.
So if you have the sun, moon, or rising in Scorpio, there would be a trine between the sun, Venus, and Mercury right now. And that's
Mm,
very positive flow of communication and um, feeling pretty good.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because I see like this like movement forward, like even with the chariot, like just moving forward. Like, because it looks like in your card there's someone blocking, but they're like, yeah, don't stand in my way. I'm bigger than you.
Right.
I got a sword, and this
Thank
one
you.
has a unicorn horn.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, in the olden days, they ride the horses and they ride with their flag,
Yeah.
to show like where who they are, like the family or whatever tribe.
Crest. Yeah.
Yeah. And this one is like a tree with wings. So I feel it's very positive,
Very
very
spiritual. Yeah.
yeah, very auspicious time for you, Scorpio. Is good. So next we have Sag. Oh, well, look at this.
Justice.
And I have Queen of Gabrielle, which is Queen of Wands. It says passionate, charming, brilliant, and independent. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want, the ability to attract helpful people. Hmm. So you have the power to, I don't know, maybe
So
have,
justice and Sag and power, that's, getting to the truth and resolve of some, even if it's not a court case, that kind, but just karmically balanced.
yeah, I mean, it does have a positive vibe that I'm feeling.
Sun, moon, rising, Sag would be trining the North Node. So that's destined, positive people creating um, gifts and positive opportunities. Justice,
Well, maybe that's the karma um, that's
balancing.
coming through.
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't
feels
know.
good.
I keep getting for Sag, to go to one of these archery places and take up archery.
I would do that.
I'd like to
May-
do that.
Maybe that'll help me to blow off some steam.
Yeah. Do they have them there? They have them indoor here, these archery. They're instead of like a shooting gun gallery kind of shooting range, it's an archery place.
I don't know, but I just saw my friend's post. He took his son out to like this hatchet, like an axe throwing
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, him and his wife and the kid, they went out and threw like the hatchet.
Like a
And
powwow.
yeah, I was like, well, I mean, like, I don't know how safe that is because you're throwing
Yeah.
like, some sharp objects. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's like not too sharp. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it goes into like a haystack
Yeah.
situation, and it had like a little bullseye target on it. I
It's
thought
almost
that was
like
cool.
Celtic games, where they used to, what they do, they toss telephone poles and bags of rocks and their little
Just to
skirts.
kind of show how strong they are.
What do they wear under those kilts?
Nothing.
I mean,
Uh, they've been commando this whole time.
I went to one of those type of Celtic game festivals one time. It was eye opening.
Mhm.
I mean, try to toss a telephone pole.
Right. Mhm.
Oh, and they have those wonderful drummers, the drumming.
Mhm.
I love
Mhm.
I love hearing that. I think that's very powerful. That really does resonate to something primal in you.
Yeah, like something
Take
I'm
take
gonna
take up some drumming for the new moon, the full moon.
my mom, she's taking a bunch of classes. She's taking drum class, piano class,
Oh,
and singing class.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's doing it all. I was like, wow. She's like, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this. So yeah, but don't mind her because she's in her 70s,
Right.
and she's learning something new.
Well, that's what that study about the nuns who were like 100 years old was saying. The key to it was they were always learning something new.
Hmm.
And at the
My
time,
mom does not look like her age, by the way.
well, they were taking up learning how to play the harp.
Oh, that's difficult.
I know, evidently the harp is a really hard instrument.
Oh, wow.
But
Well,
wouldn't that be a cool thing?
it is because I watched this guy who plays the harp, but he's a really good guitarist. But yeah, um, yeah. So you have Queen of Pentacles. I have Ten of Michael, which is Ten of Swords. And it says, a situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you.
Well, amen to that.
That sounds good. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, who, like you say, like the mothering energy. Uh,
Strong businesswoman.
mm-hmm. So it's done, Capricorn. You don't have to go through this karma. There's a new opportunity ahead, so you can take that bow on that stage.
Yeah. Take a bow. I
Hmm.
like that. Feel empowered.
Yeah, and doing it with grace. Don't go out like tacky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So just say no comment for your exit interview.
yeah. Ta ta for now. Like,
Ta-ta. Ciao.
yeah, I'm done.
Actually, that was my last email to HR. They sent me this little thing about turning in my laptop, and I just wrote back, said thank you, all done.
And that's all she wrote.
That's all. Bye bye.
Uh,
That was a good feeling.
yeah, I know. So today is like you deserve like a spa day or something. Like
I'm going to get
really.
my hair cut tomorrow.
Oh, a haircut.
I'm
Oh,
getting pampered with my a hair tomorrow, a hair appointment.
well, that's okay. Well, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I probably need to go get a pedicure.
I tell you, the last couple of weekends in my yard, I have worked so hard. I have muscles in my arms that I never knew I had. That you know, I've just worked really hard and gotten really sore. So I think this weekend with the heat and everything, I need to just kind of chill.
Yeah, especially if it's going to be in the hundreds and
It is.
stuff.
It's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it.
Don't need to be heat stroking out.
Yeah.
My dogs have a little pool. Thought about bringing the little doggy pool out.
Yeah, I mean that would be a good thing for them to have. Well, yeah. Where the cards at?
Oh, well, Aquarius, I got two for you, so I'm going to use both of them.
I could not find it. I found it.
Look what I got. This is really good.
The Empress and the Ace of Swords.
Yeah.
I have 8 of Michael, which is 8 of Swords. And so it says you can be free, make a courageous choice to change your situation, not seeing things clearly. That's the clarity.
Yeah, and Pluto is in Aquarius, so that is all about, the life, death, life cycle and rejuvenation and regeneration and things in for new things to begin, and very powerful.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like the sense of freedom also. Um, that's actually really good energy, especially with the Empress. Like maybe it's birthing something new too.
Yeah.
Also, I like.
Love, new love.
Yes, make a courageous choice. So that's actually really good. So, I feel like there's some clarity that you might be having, Aquarius, around this time. It's actually really positive.
And the white roses of purity.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I like that.
So I had like a hangnail.
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, had to bite it off. Finally, we have Pisces.
Pisces. Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces right now. That's a little gnarly. A little gnarly.
I've seen my brother, he posted something on Facebook and it's him drinking his alcohol. So, I remember you telling me like Pisces, they like to drink. And you know what? I
Indulge.
see it. My brother likes to showcase his special drinks on the platform. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you effing serious? Like, really?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's coming out with some bar drinks. Like, I don't even know how to make it, but he apparently knows how. And I'm thinking to myself, aren't you allergic to alcohol? Like, why are you like showing people you're taking the edge off because you had a hard day of work? Nobody needs to see that. But yeah, my brother is
I think
definitely.
COVID really did increase people's alcohol intake from being cooped up and nothing to do. I think there are plenty of ABC stores that piped up and vape stores. People are just looking to
Well,
anesthetize.
you know what? My brother, he has a keg.
Oh my
He
gosh.
posted that, like a micro keg.
Well, I had a friend, and this shocked me because I didn't know she was that into it, but she married a guy who is a beer distributor,
Oh.
and they renovated their home so that he has, like, in their basement all this commercial refrigeration and kegs, and at her sink next to her hot and cold water is a it's not called a spigot, but it's for like draft beer,
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever they call those levers, but it's hooked up so that they can have a beer in their kitchen anytime.
Yeah, it's a like a keg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like down in the basement with all this refrigeration, but it's at their kitchen sink where they just, what's that thing called? It's like a lever.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what the technical term is, but I know what you
And I
mean.
mean, the thousands of dollars that it took to do that configuration,
Mhm.
they're really dedicated to their beer.
They must like the taste of malt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never cared for beer.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. But then there's coffee drinkers out there and
Right.
you know,
Well,
anyway.
Pisces is the magician, and you have the eight of Gabriel.
Mhm. And it says a great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, important communication. So that's like 8 of wands.
Hmm.
So there could be something in the air apparently. There's a lot of like that maybe internet connection, messages coming through, an ability to possibly I don't know, push forward through some endeavor.
Psychic ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some activity. I feel like it's online chatter because I was just telling you about my brother, and he was posting a picture of his alcoholic drink, and then it was a bunch of women, to be honest, that were partaking in those conversations, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not. I'm just gonna shut my mouth.
Pisces is very charming.
They are. They're very
They're very
charming.
charming.
They know how they have the gift of the gab almost, and that could be the magician being the trickster.
Right.
Chatty much? Okay.
Is your brother the type where, like, around his family, he might be kind of grumpy or quiet, but get him around other people outside of the family, he's like a social butterfly?
He's a social butterfly regardless. Like he is like the center of attention, and he knows how to push buttons or to get his way with words. Like he knows how to finesse his way into stuff. The only time when he gets moody is if he gets triggered by a keyword and he goes,
Uh,
and then it's just whatever. And then if you really piss him off, um, yeah, he gets to drinking and stuff, or you know. But like he does social drink. Now that I see, you know. But yeah, he likes his water, but he does like his liquor. Apparently, I had no idea. So,
well, that about sums it up. We have a Cancer new moon July the 5th.
mm-hmm.
It's a holiday weekend for a lot of people. I tell you, um, I don't know if anybody be interested, but the chart for the United States is very active for that July 4th period. You know, that's the birth the birth of the United States, July 4th, 1776. So that chart right now has a lot of stuff being activated.
Did you see the article about Melinda Gates backing B man for presidency? She's like, I've never backed anyone, but I will back him. And I'm like,
Oh my God. It just shows you how delusional people can be.
yeah, because I read that, you know, she was awarded like, I don't know, $12.8 billion from the
Of
fund.
course.
Yeah. And it was really going towards like women and females or whatever.
So on alternative channels, conspiracy theorists say that Bill and Melissa Gates were actually executed in India years ago for they killed like 300 children with some experiential vaccine, and that who we are seeing as a version of them now are actors or clones, but they are not the original Bill and Melinda Gates.
Hmm.
So I haven't done like a side by side photo, but you know, Bill Gates got it all in his head about all of a sudden he became an expert on healthcare and getting into the pharmaceuticals, and
Well, that's because he invested into it.
he did an experiment on all these children in India and they died, and he was tried and put to death. So I wonder if we'll ever know the real story there, but that is an alternative um, story out there.
Mhm, mhm.
We're just living in such times, you just don't know what to believe.
Mm. Yeah, we don't know because we
And with
oh,
I mean, AI is really, um, you know, I can see where there's some good, maybe, but there's a lot of bad associated with it in terms of scam and fraud and, how they can manipulate things. And
Mhm.
it's kind of scary.
Especially with the likeness of, like, a well-known person, right?
Right. And like YouTube channels, like, these different regular people with big followings and everything, they have people spinning off to um, ask for money, and people are think they're donating to this one or that one, and it's really an AI bot that's just scamming people out of money.
Mm,
There's
mm.
a doctor, I forget her name, Dr. Jaya or something. She's into like this, um, like Tesla, and how he used um, magnetic electrical energy for healing the body and conditions of the body, and like these kind of med bed pod things that realign your electrical grid to heal you of certain conditions. And she's one of these naturopath type doctors, and I forget how many hundreds of thousands of followers she had on a YouTube channel. And some AI bot was able to um, recreate her. And I mean, the real doctor never asks for money, but this uh, alternative AI, and you can tell she's a robot by watching her eyes. You can tell
Oh,
it's not
because
a
it doesn't look natural.
right.
Mm.
And I was watching some news story about, she's devastated that she's kind of been hijacked that way, and how careful people need to be about, you know, who's asking for money and where they're sending it, because it might not be legitimate.
I think most people know, or I would hope, that if, someone is asking for money, like, that is not the case,
I
you
told
know?
you about my neighbor who has a friend who's, I, I think this lady's close to 70, and she's obviously in early stages of dementia, but she thinks that she's having a full blown relationship with Mark Harmon.
Oh, I think I remember you telling me about that.
And,
Yeah.
and like, whoever these like scam artists are, through her social media, have been able to see, what she likes, and they call her, and he goes into these stories about, you know, wanting to divorce his wife, but she's tied up all of his money and needs her to send money. And my friend was trying to help her and trying to get her to wake up to all of this, but figured out she'd already sent like $28,000 to these people.
Oh my god.
Really bad. Yeah.
Mm.
I saw this thing on YouTube about him, and it was talking about what a great marriage he has and how long he's been with her. And I sent it to my friend. I was like, give this to your friend and see if it, makes her realize that she's not talking to the real one. And she told me, this is someone in the neighborhood. I run into her walking dogs. And when I saw her, I was like, did that? She goes, she doesn't believe anything. She just believes that she and him are going to be in a relationship. And
Well, maybe if, and I hate to say this, but in her mind, maybe that's, like, the best thing. He's doing her a service, and she's being kind of satisfied or fulfilled in that way, and
well, I guess I'd be fine with that, except for, I mean, he's draining her resources that are there to take care of her in her old age.
yeah.
And she's on oxygen. I mean, she's had a lot of health problems over the years.
Yeah, so she could actually use that more than he.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know. People get things in their mind, and it just, between robots and AI and what's the other thing? Cloning, and those
Mhm.
masks they can make to make people look so real. I mean, it just, that's very Neptunian, all of that delusion, an illusion.
Yeah, you don't know what's under this mask. Like, what the heck
I
is that?
know. I hope the masks come off soon. I'd
Mhm.
like to see who's really under a few of them. I
Mm.
think we'd be shocked.
Do we wanna know?
I do. I do. I do.
Mm.
Just want to know the truth.
Mhm. Mhm. But, what sign is the one that's the truth seeker?
Sagittarius.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We just not too long ago went through a bunch of Sag transits.
Oh, okay, that must be where that's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Truth seeker.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good. Like, I guess we're gonna find out the truth if we just sit still and stay in our corners and listen to people and
Listen
really go,
more, talk less.
yeah,
Yeah.
go deep within and figure stuff out.
And pamper.
Yeah,
You're going to go
I'm
get a
all for that.
pedicure, and I'm going to go get a haircut.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm tired to be honest. Like, I woke up early. I've been waking up early all week, and I go to bed late at night. So tonight, I'm going to indulge into some sweet or snack. I don't care. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna watch my dramas, and I'm gonna be happy camper.
That sounds like a good plan. And
um,
we'll see how things line up for that July 4th weekend for the new moon.
hmm So
Um,
it is the 5th for the next 2 weeks.
mhm.
Um, I mean, that's up to you if you want to do it on the 5th.
um,
If
it,
you need some time, let me know because I know that there's a lot going on with you.
if you need some time, let me know. Um, what I was going to say is, I wonder if the 4th might be a fun time to do something a little different.
Hmm. If we do, because I normally take my boys out to
Do
the
you?
water. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of ruckus out there. Obviously, I'm not gonna bring Luna. She stays at home. But
Well, let's keep it at the 5th then on a Friday night.
okay.
And Cancer new moon. And I may do a little synopsis of the US chart.
Okay,
Just,
yeah, I did read like someone commented on the community feed that they really enjoyed how thorough your astro report was.
well, that's awfully kind.
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if you want to take a look at whoever wrote that, just go look on the feed.
I uh, wonder sometimes if anybody ever reads them.
Oh yeah, no, people do appreciate the written stuff. That's for
Okay.
sure. I know this from experience because when I do my Instagram feeds, I get a lot of comments from people. They're like, "Did you write the thing for so and so? I just don't have time to watch the video." And I'm like, "Okay, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Uh, this takes time."
Well,
So,
it's very therapeutic to me. I've always liked writing, and I get things in my head better if I can read it on a page.
mhm, mhm.
So I
For me,
appreciate.
it's like I'm channeling, but then I have to write that in a text format.
Right.
And it's like coming out of like translate state and then putting that into words,
Right.
which I think I do well sometimes. But yeah, like doing it quickly as soon as I do it, I have to kind of get it out there or I'll forget.
Right.
And then it's like not fresh. And I'm like, do I
Right.
have to watch it again?
I think it's really a good tool with these types of energies to do writing.
hmm I'm going to be writing a bunch of lists because you were talking about writing a list for every room.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you notice that my position is a little different, right?
Yes.
Well, in the past couple of weeks when we were doing these lives, like my internet has been shoddy. And I'm
Oh,
like, well, maybe it's like my connection. Maybe I'm too far away from my router. And so I'm back in one of my original locations. And I'm
we've not
much,
had any trouble tonight.
well, yeah, but this is okay. But when I'm working on my websites and stuff, it's choppy. So there's something there, and I don't know what it is. So, but the whole moral of the story is that once I brought that thing out here, and I've been needing to clean out this whole space, it
Right.
kind of was natural, and I just did it. Like, everything that I needed to do, and I've been pushing it off because,
Right.
you know, "Oh, I'll get to it," because I'm over there and not
Right.
over here all the time. Now I had the need to, like, just clean everything up, and everything is really organized now. I cleaned up the clutter, so that's
Nice.
a couple things off my list
Nice. I
of
love
things to
that.
do. So yeah, so it's like it takes like one thing that's not working, and
Right.
now like you put that thing there, like, okay, now I gotta just
Yeah.
do everything else because like that does not belong, and you have to kind of force yourself to do the rest. So
It's definitely mind over matter to keep motivated on working on things like that, you know.
hmm For me, it was like pushed as if universe wanted me, because I asked spirit, I do a lot of channeling about my tasks. Every
Yeah.
day, I really connect with spirit. I said, Spirit, what do I need to focus on today? And I said, do I need to work on this or should I do something else? And they were like, nope, to work, nope, to work. And I was like, well, what is it? Clean?
Yeah.
Yes. So it was like on a weekday when that's the normal work day, right? And I was like,
Right.
well, maybe I needed to really clean out the clutter so that my mind wasn't
Right.
like all over the place because honestly it was. And it actually did my self service because now I have a lot of things in perspective. So it kind of worked out like that. So, but
I
I
have a
still,
little half bathroom down off of my den,
mhm.
and it just became almost like part storage with like fold up tables and house plants that were in there from winter. And one of them was a
House plant.
fern. And, when ferns come in and they shed those needles. So I had all these dried needles all over the floor. And I don't know, one Saturday morning recently, I just tackled that. And it's like when I got all that stuff out of there, I was like, wow, I actually have a decent sized little bathroom here.
Yeah, now you feel good about it. Put a little potpourri in there.
That's what I was gonna say is like, you know, that has really made me want to tackle like the next corner. And,
Mhm.
you know,
So yeah, very similar to what I went through like
yeah,
on Monday.
I
Like,
have this like porcelain shelf that was mounted on the wall over
mhm.
the sink. And when a guy repaired the sink, I don't know what he did, but that's the only thing left to do in there is figuring out mounting this shelf on the wall. And it has these anchors, and I don't know why it's not sitting the way it should. I don't know. I don't know that that's on the floor. And that's, I keep looking at that. It's like, I've got to figure that out.
Well, maybe it's not supposed to be there and it's supposed to be going somewhere else.
Well, it exactly matches the mirror and the sink. I mean, it was
Oh, okay, it's like a whole set thing.
yeah,
Mm.
and I don't know why it's not whatever he bumped or did, the connection between the shelf and the wall and these bolts loosened up. I don't know. I'm
Mm,
about ready to pull out some super glue and glue that son of a gun to the wall.
that's funny. I just brought out my hot glue gun.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But it was for, to wrap like a gift, for
Yeah.
some of the packages I did. And I was talking about like the sunflowers. So the product was a yellow cup. It's the sun.
Oh,
And I wrapped it up nice. And then I put a yellow ribbon around it. And then I had like some sunflower, like, just like fake flowers. And I was like, that would look pretty if I like put that on it as like a
oh,
decorative
yeah.
ribbon thing. So I pulled out the hot glue gun and went to town. And I was like, yeah, it looks good.
Cool.
So, yeah. Yeah, I really like, making those little boxes. But, yeah, I pulled out the glue today.
Well,
Oh,
something's gotta happen there. I don't like it just sitting in the floor in this kind of spot where you saw where it used to be. I don't know. I
well, I
was
don't know if you can see this behind me because I went to town. I got my black paneling.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it used to be that whiteboard, the
Oh
office
yeah.
whiteboard. Yeah, I took it away. I was like, no,
I
you're going
like that.
away. So, yeah, I did some rearranging and stuff.
It feels good to see energy moved that way, you
Oh
know.
yeah, I was definitely like, I need something cuz but now all of my papers are in my room where I was. I traded off and I'm like,
Right,
I
right.
got to tackle that now. Like I don't like it. It's an eyesore, but that's
I
my weekend project.
a box of banker boxes from the
Mhm.
office supply, and they got delivered to my front porch, and I pulled them in to a foyer living room area where they have sat, and I have to walk around them,
Mhm.
and because I they're heavy to just drag up the steps. So that's my next thing is I want to break open the boxes and start getting files boxed up or destroyed, whatever needs to happen.
Well, sounds like you got your work cut out for you regardless.
Man, I got a home journal project thing going on.
Well, get you. You're like, well, I guess when you get your hair done, I don't know how long your hair appointment is.
Yeah.
Probably not a long time, right?
I've been driving like 40 minutes to this place that I found. It's kind of a
Mhm.
long drive, but I really like the people there. And I just kind of make a day of it. It's kind of out a ways. And then there's like a country way back. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so
Okay.
it takes a few hours just to the travel but it's just like really relaxing, you know. So
No, I used to do that. Like, I used to drive a few hours to where my ex-boyfriend lived, and I used that time to like listen to music and just enjoy driving.
yeah, just sometimes driving and thinking work.
Mhm. Yeah, because it was like one of those like kind of like country road, like boring roads, but it's a scenic. Like it's nice to kind of look at like the different terrain and
And
stuff.
there's like one time I stopped these old church ladies, like a garden club was having some kind of little yard sale or something, and I stopped and I they had all these plants for $1, and you know, I love stopping at like now there's vegetable stands you can stop at, and
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't ever have a plan. I just go where the wind blows.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. I hope you enjoy your
Well, you get out
weekend.
there and get your pedicure
Yeah,
Stop
I'm a
being dry
uh-huh.
and scaly.
I know, right?
Oh,
Don't
Lord.
remind me. Yeah, um, but I think I'm, like, really focused on I have a lot of work that I need to do.
Well, it'll get done.
Mhm.
Take some time for yourself too.
Yeah, I'm doing
All
that
of it
tonight.
is, it's a lot of gravitational pull between the Earth surface and the solar system. So, you kind of have to honor that your system is under that same sort of pull, and
Mhm.
maybe it's a time to not go full tilt.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Just sit back and soak your feet and write a list of what you're going to do or something.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Like, I'm not even gonna do that today. After I get off the live, I'm gonna cook dinner, and then I'm gonna think about the snack because I've been thinking about this snack all day.
All right.
And then after that, because I had cupcakes, I have one left,
Yum.
and it's dry, so I'm ready for the next sweet thing.
My office
So,
today was celebrating a couple of birthdays and they brought in ice cream cake. And I
oh,
never had this particular thing. And ice cream is one of those things that I can forego. There's other sweets that I prefer, but
mm-hmm.
these cakes were so fancy. And so, yeah, I had a little ice cream cake this today.
How was it?
It was okay. I think I would like my ice cream just plain. It was all like, do you have like Dairy Queen Blizzard stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the cake. So it was like all mixed up with all
Stuff
kinds of stuff, and I think I like my ice cream like more plain.
like vanilla.
Hedge syrup, yeah, and some cherries, yeah. Just
Okay.
simple. Keep it simple.
Mhm, mhm,
Didn't keep me from eating it and trying it though. She did
mhm,
like one that was Oreos, one that was brownies, and one that was Reese's cups. And I tried the Reese's cups one. And
mhm.
I mean, it was fine, but again,
It's
I
not your cup of tea.
would just soon have like a piece of cake or a bowl of ice cream. Something about the cake and ice cream together all mixed up like that was
That
kind of weird.
sounds good. Now I think I wanna make, like, chocolate cake or something, or
Yeah.
chocolate icing.
Devil's food cake with white icing. Yum.
Well, let me let you go because
Yes.
then I'll have some time to go to the grocery store
Yes.
if I have to.
You get in that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick and easy. It's burger night. I got the George Foreman grill,
All right. Well,
and
everybody
so
have a good weekend. Hang in there,
yes,
and we'll
thank
see
you
you
for
again
stopping
soon.
by.
Okay. Yes. See you
Yes.
later.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye-bye.